Hey guys, welcome to Saints TV. Welcome to the round 16 preview. Um, we're facing North Melbourne at Blundstone Arena in Tassie on Saturday at 3:20. Um, it's going to be an interesting game, I think. I'm not going into this one with that much dread compared to the last couple of weeks. I thought what we did on the weekend, apart from say the last 15 minutes, was commendable. I thought we played better. I thought we attacked the ball better. We were back to our pressure game. A lot of our good players played well, namely Marshall. Bruce kicked three. Good to get another game into Hanbury. Good to get another game into Carlisle. And we move on. North Melbourne, on the other hand, they've gone a bit of a transformation since sacking Scott, who's rumoured to be in the market, and apparently we're close to signing the deal with him if Richo was to leave, but I really hope that's not true. They've been in really good form. They notably smashed Collingwood recently. They played really well against Richmond and did the exact same thing to them. Really high-pressure football. Similar to the way, when you watch them, similar to how we used to play with Ross Lyon. We weren't really kicking big scores, but we were keeping teams to really low scores. And any team that keeps Collingwood to 37 or 35 points at Marvel Stadium under the roof, in the form that Collingwood's been in all season is, that's scary. So it's not going to be easy. I'm not saying we're, not a chance, but I'm saying that if they play the way they've been playing, they'll beat most teams. And I don't know if it's to do with Ree Shaw coming in and doing an excellent job in his coaching debut, and whether he keeps the job is another question, or it's just the players being freed up because of Scott leaving. But I honestly don't know. For us, the ins for this week, they're not really the most exciting ends. When you look at them, it's, David Armitage, Jack Nunes hasn't done enough to come back in for mine. 25 disposals last week, but I don't think that's enough. Brown, I think Brown's the most logical one based on just North Melbourne's forward line and the tools they have there and our kind of lack of that experience in that department. And we would have loved to have Nathan Brown last week to help out Carlisle, who was kind of isolated on Tom Lynch at times last week. And then you've got Sam Rowe, who's been included in a couple of times but hasn't debuted. He's another similar to Brown in that aspect where he's just a tall backman and can do a job. I can't see who in that backline would be dropped apart from Mackenzie, but I thought that he played well, or at least better last week. In terms of Nunes, I think that most of the mids definitely deserve to keep their position. I'd give another game. Hunter Clark obviously stays in. I think Nick Coffell did enough. There's no one there that would be dropped. Jack Steele didn't do much, but he's not going to be dropped for Jack Nunes. David Armitage, can't see where he fits in. So it's really up to Brown and Rowe in the back line. Apart from that, I can't see who would be in that position. Unless it's very much a tactical thing or someone pulls up sore. But I'm just interested to see who comes in because I can't see four ins like that at all. That's too old, I guess, too experienced even. Where the players that played well last week were the Hines, were the Clarks, were the Caulfields. So they were the players that weren't necessarily full of the most experience, but they were full of the most excitement, and that's a different thing. And I think that's why I'm disappointed that an Armitage is listed there, but a Langlands, who I talked up earlier today, Dalton Langlands, has been in great form. He's likened to Jack Stephen in the way that he bursts away from the packs with his speed. He had 20 disposals in the West, had 7 or 9 tackles, later kicked a goal, and he's been good all season for Sandy. So I don't see how he gets, Armitage gets a gig ahead of someone like Langlands, who's young, pick 8 in the rookie draft 2017. But I'm not a coach, so I'm sure there's answers to that. I think this is a winnable game. I genuinely do. I think, North Melbourne, their form will drop at some point. They're on a high. I'm sure Shaw's done a lot of, it got to do with a lot of the way, the differences in coaching to Scott. But I think a lot of it does have to do with, just the players being, the weight taken off their shoulders, and they're just running and tackling and playing the way they want to play. There's no coach over the top of them saying, don't do this, do that. And I could see the same, with us if anything happened to Richo, which I don't think it will. I could see a similar sort of thing of form just spiking and then at some point dropping, and then you get a coach to come in and do the job after that. But they're due. They've been up for pretty much the entire time that Scott's been out, which is about 3 or 4 weeks, close to a month. They've been in good form. I think being in Tassie might actually help us, just away from home, just to take the pressure off at Marvel Stadium in front of the fans. Although I've said that before and it's massively backfired. But I honestly would go with it. To be honest, I would go with an unchanged team. I thought the team played well on the weekend for the most part against a good Richmond team who had a lot of good players back. And we were in it up till our ears, leading into the last 15 minutes. When Bruce kicked that goal, we went 16 points, 6 points down, in fact, and then it was just that run of goals towards the end, which is always our problem. It's our downfall is we can't stop teams that get on a run. And North Melbourne have been on a big run for a month, so this is the ultimate test to play against them, because if we can do well against them, it sets us up for another game after that, which is a scary one, which is, I believe it might be Bulldogs or it might be Geelong and Geelong. I think it might be Geelong and Geelong. I might be wrong. But we've got a big 3 weeks coming up against, it's either going to be North Bulldogs Geelong or North Geelong Bulldogs. But all three have been in very good form, particularly North. Bulldogs had a great win last week in the wet against Port. And then you've got Geelong, who are the top of the table team, 2 games clear. So, it's not going to be easy. Let's go through some of these comments. Cooper says, wouldn't mind all 4, but Dunstan survives. Very lucky. He's no good. Same with Long, Nunes, and Brown in from the extended bench for Parker and Patton. I'd give another game to Patton, guys. I wouldn't drop him. We don't want him to be the new Hunter Clark. You got to give him an extended spell. He's got good disposal. He just needs to get more of it. And he was very nervous last week, so let's back him and give him another game. I wouldn't drop him. I think Parker maybe is the only one that I've said for a few weeks. I'm surprised he's played this many games, well, every game this season particularly. So he's the one that I drop, but particularly Ben Long stays in the team. You've got too many smalls then. But yeah, I'm not the coach, so it's up to them. But Richo said he changed the game plan. If we play like we did in the first half, it'll be a great game. That's from Stuart. I agree. Razor says if Nunes comes back in, I think I will go mental. Grant says I don't think Sam Fox is an AFL listed player. Mark says how's Jack Stevens going? Jack Steven, not Stevens. Not too sure. I know he trained really well last week, and they said he was close to being ready to come back in. I'm tipping that if he trains well for the next week, that we might see him play in the next game, whether it's against the Dogs or Geelong. It'd be interesting to see if it's against Geelong that he comes back in, the club that everyone's saying that he'll go to. Hopefully he does come in and he rips them a new one. But yeah, it's just a waiting game for Jack. He's training. It's just when he says he's ready. That's pretty much the decision there. Michael says, I've tipped the Saints. So that'll be good. Did I tip us? I think I tipped us. Judy says, as long as we put in effort for 4 quarters, that's all we want. Tanya says, no, we've got no hope. Tanya, just very negative. I don't see that sort of negativity from anyone else, and including myself. I'm actually going into this with a bit of excitement. I'm keen to see how we go. I was impressed with 3.5 quarters last week, and then we dropped off. Hopefully we can pull it together, because I think most other teams we face, if we play as good as we did in that first half, you're further than 4 points up, which is what we were at halftime against Richmond, which I knew was not enough. We needed to be further ahead to have a chance, and we just kept letting them get back into the game. And we forget, we were 23 points up midway through the second, looking good. So if we can start like that, I back us. I think, it'll be a good game. Good test for us too. Need Nathan Brown in because of their tools. I also think Marshall v Goldstein will be a very big battle. Marshall being ranked the #1 player in the AFL since round 11. So apparently we've got the best player in the comps for the last 4 weeks. So we'll need him to play at his best to have a chance and to get our mid's first possession from Goldstein, who's been a very good ruckman for a long time. Daniel says, keen for a competitive game down in Tassie. Need this win, but badly to get some momentum for the last week's match, which will be hard. Stephen didn't train today, says Julio. That's sad. Cats, then dogs. Okay, so we've got a couple of big weeks for us. Daniel says, Saints have never played 4 quarters as long as I can remember. If we can do that no matter the team we have in and the team we play, we can win. We just need the 4-quarter effort. Andrew tagged me. Jake, we need you on the field. I'm happy to play for the Saints if they let me. Instead, I'll just play for South Yarra. But, either's fine. Bo says, do you think Adam Tomlinson will join the Saints? I've heard we've been interested in him since I can remember. Since 2017, we've been interested. I'd love to get him. He's a good backman. But I also wouldn't mind a lot of the other teammates that he has, including Lockie Whitfield, who's another one that if we can't get Caniglio, I would definitely go hard for Whitfield because he's an absolute gun. He's a workhorse. He's light on a frame, but he plays harder than anyone, and he runs longer than anyone. But yeah, I'd take Tomlinson in a heartbeat. France is not confident, but would like to see 4-quarter effort. I think we all would. Tip the Saints. Brown for McKenzie for height matchups. Says Grant. Not confident. Heard that for the last 2 years. I think that's in regards to our form and for Tomlinson coming. And Stephen won't play at all this year, guys, says Kane. So I don't know if Kane's got a bit of an insight there, but he thinks that Stephen won't play. Let's go through some of the AFL stats. So you've got, in terms of averages, North Melbourne average 25 more disposals per game. Amazingly, we average more clearances. They average more inside 50s, more contested possessions. We average more tackles. They average more hitouts and more free kicks. They're currently in 11th position. We're in 14th. Their percentage is 96. Ours is 82. Their defense is better. Their attack is a lot better. And let's see what the AFL reckons. Let's go straight to prediction. Kangaroos by 19 points. Big call is Ben Brown to kick 5 goals straight, putting behind his woes from the past 3 weeks. Who would have thought this would ever be a big call? It's a big week for Jake Carlisle. The expectation will be higher on Carlisle in his 3rd match since recovering from a debilitating back injury that delayed his start to the season. The Roos 3-pack of talls, Ben Brown, Nick Larkey and Mason Wood, will keep him busy. The matchup of the game, as I said, Goldstein v Marshall. There are rumblings around St Kilda being in the ruck market, and Goldstein, number 16 in the AFL rankings. A free agent is reportedly one of our targets. I'd take him, but he wouldn't be number 1 ruck. However, the Saints already have a promising big man in Marshall who might be extra motivated this week. So it's a big game for us. What it means for St Kilda, the Saints can hand their embattled coach Alan Richardson a week mostly free of scrutiny with a 7th win for the season, which would give them a chance to match the 11 from 2017. For North, it means a chance for the Roos to edge closer to the top 8, but also to prove they can perform just as well as the hunted rather than the hunter. And that's the thing. Most of the North Melbourne games of late have been against teams better than them, and they can go in hunting, and there's no expectation. Entirely different now. It's switched. They're expected to beat us, and that's why I think I feel like, with us, without the expectation, we can be the hunter and just go for it. And I think we play better when we can just go for it. So that's why I think we've got a chance, and we should go into this game with a bit of positivity. The ends, not sure about. I'd honestly just keep the same team. If anything, drop Parker, bring in Brown, because I think the forward line's okay with the players that we've got already, and we've got enough smalls and talls. I think having Brown to help Carlisle and Battle is perfect to tackle that 3-man tall forward line for North Melbourne. I'll leave it there, guys. Keep the comments coming. What time's the game? The game's on, it's 3:20 Sunday, Blundstone. I don't think it's on free-to-air, so it's going to be Fox Footy or Foxtel Go on your mobile if you have it. And I'll do my review after that game at 3:20, hopefully to talk about a decent performance, because it's been a damn long time. So hopefully the Saints pull something out on Sunday. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. This will be up on Spotify. If you don't get to watch it now, listen to it again tomorrow or leading up to the game on Spotify or iTunes. Also YouTube, it'll be on there. And lastly, tomorrow is July 5th, and we all know what that is. It's 10 years since the round 14 game, round 14, 2009, St Kilda versus Geelong. Both teams going into that game 13-0. Tomorrow night, we are giving you the full game from 7 p.m. So I think it's Collingwood Hawthorns, the Friday night game tomorrow. But if you don't give a shit about that, which I probably won't, watch St Kilda v Geelong, round 14, 2009, the full game on Saints TV Facebook from 7 p.m. Thanks, guys. Go Saints. Chat soon.